just get a lighter and light it up. What did I do wrong down there with that wiring job? 10 points.
Welcome back, Otto. We're glad to have you.
And she's working to hold course. Woo! All right.
These are the tails of Moab.
Alright, so we're climbing back in the locker and we're installing the Autopilot Sensor Arm. And our thinking is that we're going to install it exactly the way it was. We're giving the previous owner the benefit of the doubt, mainly because it worked just fine before we took everything out.
That little blue beauty there is a piece that we had built for us. The old one was pretty wet and soggy. I have this arm now, the sensor arm, hooked up to the radial drive, and I found a position where this was going to be parallel with the center line of the boat and even with the radial drive. So see how it's fairly straight. As far as I know, that's really the main thing you need. So the next thing is going to be to just get this arm mounted. We're coming up with a great plan. We put our wheel back on. Michael just verified that the rudder is centered. We have a nice reference here. When this is straight up in the center, our rudder is center. I'll be down below and we can turn it to the port side, quarter of a turn, and then I'll have her turn it to the starboard, quarter of a turn. What I'm gonna be watching for is how far the sensor arm is allowing it to go in either direction. Once we figure that out, we're gonna be able to turn it all the way to the port side as far as we can go and then mount the arm there. So we don't have to try to turn that spring-loaded base and then mount it in the middle. Just turn it all the way as far as it'll go to one way, mount it there, and then we should be able to turn it all the way to the starboard side. Are you following along?
Sort of. I am following along, but Joel has the specifics dialed.
Here's the plan in action. All right, Michael, go ahead and turn it half a turn to the port side.
Okay.
So right now, this thing is off. I'm not holding it. That's a half a turn?
Yep.
All right, so now I'm gonna secure this to the base. I'm gonna hold it steady. It only wants to go one way, so I can't turn the base counterclockwise with my hand here. I can only turn it clockwise. So right here, I'm gonna hold it steady. Now go a half a turn back to the starboard, so go to the center.
Okay.
Now I'm holding the base. See the arm moves.
Center going to starboard.
That's center. Now go a half a turn to starboard.
There.
So you notice we haven't hit the bulkhead with the arm. We have mobility on all directions. Now go back to the center.
Center.
Center, and then now go all the way to the port. Half a turn to port. Is that a half a turn?
You said all the way.
Well,
So half a turn?
I thought half was our max.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, so that's good. So what we've noticed, we don't have a rudder stop arm yet. I mean, we have a rudder stop on our radial drive, but we don't have any stops up here. So we're gonna need to do that. But when you go about a half a turn to port with our big wheel here, and a half a turn to starboard, that maxes the rudder out in either direction, more or less. It could go a little further, but once we get the rudder stop arms, that's where we're gonna stop it. So now we're gonna be able to turn it a half a turn to the port side, and then the arm, I don't have to hold it while it's spring loaded. It'll just be loose, and I can put it on the mount, and then I can mount it from there. Down here, if you notice that our radial drive is at an angle, so the further you go in either direction, it starts to lower this, and then that kind of wants to pull it off of our mount because our mount is pretty flat. But when you only go a half a turn in either direction, it keeps it level with the mount. It doesn't want to pull it down. So I think we've got a good plan. We're gonna go ahead and mount it. Okay, there's gotta be another way here. There's gotta be a better way. In our situation, that's always the case.
Still got a little while to go.
Well, now that I've got the arm mounted, I'm not going to be able to drill the mount on. So I'm going to maybe have to find a tiny little like midget Phillips screwdriver and hand screw it in. Now, is this going to work? Because it seems like the camera is upside down.
I know, I thought it might be fun.
Okay, okay.
Midget screwdriver coming up.
Hey. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes? Oh Lord. See, I think I got a half a turn. Just use the force. Alright, can you give me a half a turn to the port?
Half turn to port.
Back to center.
Centered.
Half a turn to starboard.
Half turn to starboard.
Check it out. Alright, go back to the center. We're in the center. Okay, go ahead and do a half a turn to port, which will be a full rudder turn to the port.
Alright.
Alright, now go back to the center.
Centered.
And go half a turn to starboard, which will be a full rudder turn.
Starboard.
Back to the center.
Center.
Alright, so our arm goes full in both directions. It doesn't hit the bulkhead. This stays parallel and does not hit the radial drive. I think we're gonna call that good. Alright, what you're looking at here is our wiring supplies. Thanks to Jack, who's got our back. He thought of everything, and some of these items I really didn't know what they were until we started wiring, and we are loaded. We have a lot of good stuff. Right now we're connecting the wiring back up for the Autopilot. Basically, when we took the cockpit apart, we just cut the wire right here. This right here is some heat shrink wrap, which is phenomenal. We have tons of it thanks to Jack, who's got our back. We have different sizes. It's amazing. You can cut it to size and then just get a lighter and light it up, and it'll just seal it, make it watertight. We have tons of butt connectors, 18-20 gauge. We have bigger. We're really looking good in this electrical department. Got the 3 butt connectors connected. This is the way you say that. Heat shrink going on. Looking good. No propane down here. Okay, I think we're good. No explosion. That's great. What a kit. Thank you, Jack. That looks so much better than electrical tape. Of course, we remembered to put dielectric grease on all of the wires before we put them into the butt connectors. We also have this amazing tool. Compliments of Jack as well. It's a high quality. It hasn't even come close to rusting yet. Been on the boat for a while, so she's a beaut. Sealed so water won't get in. for 10 points. What did I do wrong down there with that wiring job? 10 points, ready, go. Pause the video, make a comment, 10 points coming your way. All right, we're back. You get 10 points if you said, Joel, you idiot, the positive and the negative cannot be touching inside of that beautiful heat shrink that you did. Great wiring job. We have to thank our 2 fuses here that sacrificed their lives for us to learn this lesson. Hopefully I'm not the only one that learned a lesson. Maybe there's 1 or 2 of you out there. I'm sure almost all of you know what the hell were you thinking with that. Jack, I'm really sorry. I hope I didn't let you down. I'm really trying to learn this stuff. So now we know you don't want the positive and negative touching. So we tried to flick on the autopilot. We had nothing. A surge of something, some amps went up and dropped. Nothing turned on. Traced things down. We found the fuse was blown. I thought maybe the fuse just blew somehow over time. So I found a nice replacement, popped it in there, tried it again. Nothing. Looked at the fuse and it was obliterated. So now we've cut our nice wiring job in pieces down here, and this time we learned that we're not going to actually heat shrink anything until we test it. But we've got the big heat shrink ready to seal all 3 of these wires. We've got this heat shrink here, this heat shrink here, that's going to insulate the positive from the negative. Did you leave it on, Michael?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's do that again. What do you think?
Is it on?
It's on. Do you see that? Autopilot is on.
Welcome back, Otto. We're glad to have you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Just trying to be helpful. And trying to learn from Joel because I don't know anything about wiring.
Apparently, either do I. But now we know a little something more. All right, this is round 2. We've heat shrinked it nice and tight. Now we are about to pull the big heat shrink over the whole thing. I don't know anymore, but at least this time we tested it before we did all this, and she looks good. So I don't know what's gonna change. I'm thinking nothing. Oh, oh, here you go. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. And we have just confirmed that our autopilot is talking. We're not able to go sailing at the moment. We're still locked down here in Luperon. It's best for us to stay, and that's unfortunate, but at the same time, now we have our engine ripped apart. We've got some projects going, so it's gonna be fine. Let's just show you real quick. Michael, go ahead and hit auto, just wherever we're at.
Alright, 71 degrees.
Now hit +10, just to show them. Okay, do one more, +10. Okay, go -10. -10 more. And she's working to hold course. Woo! All right.
Alright guys, well that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Any takeaways from this episode, Joel? I know I learned a lot.
Yeah, a lot of takeaways.
Specifically.
Do you guys have any takeaways from this episode? I am speechless. Why are you putting the camera on me right now?
Because we're getting your takeaways.
Oh, just my takeaways. Okay, my takeaways. Well, persistence prevails usually. Never underestimate any job. Not that we thought the autopilot was going to be easy. I thought that was going to be impossible, but I thought wiring it up would be easy, and that ended up taking a while. So other than that, my other takeaways are that I'm thankful for all of you who have stuck with us during this serious learning curve. It's only recently that I've realized how much we have to learn, and it's kind of embarrassing. At first it was kind of fun. It was really fun to just be like, yeah, we're idiots, we don't know what we're doing, but we show it all and we're honest and that's our thing. And then after a while you're like, okay, this is getting a little old, kind of tired of playing the fool. Maybe I want to look like an expert, really look like I know what I'm doing. So you try to do that, and then you're like, all right, well, I did this and that, and it's all gonna work really great. And then it's like, you're like, oh man, well, should I show that? Should I
Alright, Joel's feeling a little down on himself right now. Guys, if you could give him a heart in the comments, I think that would really help. But yeah, bottom line, we got it working, which is a huge accomplishment, and we feel really proud about that. Be sure to subscribe, give us a like, and we'll see you next week.
These are the tales of Moab. Over here. Over here.
Come on, Willie. Pay attention. Focus.
Moab!
Lola dipped.
How come you're so quiet?